Mecca news, Mecca news, Mecca news. Check it out. We're going to break it down when you pass walk into the courtroom. We're going to show a man battling and defending himself. He's defending his own statements. I'm going to play a video where you could hear Dwayne Keffe D sitting here defending himself. He's fighting himself. The only person that can put him in jail at this point, the way the government put it, is himself, his own statements. I want you to see, we're going to enter into a time machine. Let's get this party started. All right. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I just want to give you a little extra AOI, right? But check it out. We're going to ride right into this. This is bananas, so you understand. Keffe D talked himself into a possible life sentence. That's what we're going to talk about. Remember that, all right? So now we're going into a time machine because it's simple as this. Young brothers, imagine waking up and you're 63 years old, putting on your clothes, and everybody in the building is getting ready to discuss the man you were 36 years ago. Not who you are today. Not what would you believe today. Not how much you have changed today. They're going backwards. Back to 1996. Back to Las Vegas. Back to Tupac. Back to the old fight. Remember Bruce Sheldon and Mike Tyson? Like I said, I was with him in Allenwood when he was just a young buck coming up, and we was in there for violating the law. An old Cadillac, old relationships, old conversations, people who aren't even alive anymore. And suddenly, 30 years disappear. That's what hit me about Keffe D walking into the first day of his trial. Because that's what this is about, the first day of Keffe D's trial from lived experience, because I served 26 years in federal prison. Because opening statements aren't just lawyers talking psychology. That courtroom becomes a time machine and everybody gets to travel backwards, except the defendant. They all get to sit back and hear what you did that led you into the seat that you're in now. He's sitting there today, older, but prosecutors are talking about yesterday. His defense is fighting over yesterday. Witnesses are going to talk about yesterday. His own old words may come back from yesterday. And 12 strangers are eventually going to decide what yesterday means for the rest of tomorrow for Keffe D. That's dark, because I know what it's like for an older man to pay a bill that a younger man created. Allegedly, Orlando Anderson is the one that pulled the trigger. Keffe D been saying that for the last 30 years. And now he's defending those words, saying those words was just a lie. Those was a lie, he said. Like I said, I did 26 years. And somewhere during those years, I wasn't even mentally the same Unique who made the decision that put him there. But prison didn't say, oh, you changed, go home. That's the psychological trap these young brothers don't calculate. The young man gets the emotion, the adrenaline, the loyalty, the pride, the moment. The older man inherits the consequences. Orlando Anderson died a street soldier. Keffe D is fighting for his life right now. So this morning, Keffe D isn't just sitting in front of a jury. He's sitting across from a younger version of himself. And whether he's ultimately found guilty or not guilty, there's already a question sitting in that courtroom. How long can one night follow a man? That night in 1996 followed Keffe D for 30 years. Now, let's get into the jewel, right? I feel like riding today. I feel like riding. Y'all want me to ride today? Y'all want me to ride today? Let's ride. We're gonna do a little riding. Time can change your face. Time can change your thinking. But if the younger you leaves tomorrow behind, does the consequences care that the older you became suddenly different? You think the consequences care if you became different? Let me know. All right. Now, we're going to deal with the opening statement. Before I do that, Rock, I want to just tap into something because, I wasn't really feeling this because, this is about the good brother, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, right? Tretch, you went up there and you said some lies, it was some lies. I got the receipts for every statement that comes out my mouth. I got the masters to the hip hop parade. I've been in jail 26 years, so the world don't know. I got the masters to that with me and Biz Markie. Remember Biz Markie? You remember we ain't even gonna get into that. You know what that mean. I mean, let's tone it down and keep it professional. I met with Tretch when I came home. He said he was a man of his word and he was gonna keep his word. And that all I had to do was bring somebody to let it be known that I wrote the hip hop parade. I done brought brothers to him and he started hiding, and then he comes out the closet and he goes over there and he's over on Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder, two respectable young brothers, and he's lying. Hold up, man. Let me play that. I got to give them some props, man. I'm glad they got him to say this.
Get out there.
Look at that.
And then, let me ask you a question. Because I know back in Queens, like in the clubs, they used to say, hey, ho, hey. And was you in Queens? Like, did you get that from Queens?
SNL, something Linden, Jamaica. Nah,
Queens
hold on. Queens always win, but we heard that like in a gang of clubs. Like, it was like a thing you do. You know how you say ho, say ow. Like, hey ho was like in
This is crazy.
They said you was in Queens. I heard he was in Queens.
We ain't gonna give him that.
He gotta give me.
See, that I like Uncle Murder, man. Yo, Uncle Murder, I'm dying to sit down and talk to you, but we gonna finish playing this because he already know. Uncle Murder already know that's bull crap. He ain't getting it from Brooklyn, Queens. Stop it. You know what I mean? Stop the crap. You know what I mean? But he's being, politically correct.
I heard in Brooklyn. There you go.
See, now he's saying he heard it in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Because he don't want to say he heard it in Harlem, but I got proof you heard it in Harlem. Remember when Geronimo, that song that I need a gangster beat. I need a gangster beat. I need a gangster beat. Remember when they came up there with you, Latifah, Shakim, and the whole crew? I got receipts to everything. Remember I had a cameraman, dog. I had a camcorder on the man's shoulder, and I had Alex that took the 8x10s. I got all the pictures with Tupac, everybody, Queen Latifah, everybody up there. Don't let me come up here and expose you. Tretch, I respect your gangster. Don't let me come up here and expose you. Okay? I got the masters, I got the pictures, I got the receipts, I got the everything. Me and you talked. I even got the recording from the day we talked because I put the phone on record when I talked to you. Because even though the men said that you was a man of your word, I was just meeting you, so I made sure I recorded the moment, and that moment came back where now it can bite you in the ass. You lied to the people. I ain't trying to expose you, big bro. There's a number on the screen for me. Call me. I don't do the YouTube back and forth, but I'm letting you know now, don't let me expose you. I mean, Tupac was my man. Let's get that straight. Tupac was Mo Grind man. And I know how you treated Tupac. Remember the night when we was at the mobile gas station up the street from Club 2000 and Redman was there and everybody else was there, and you had the tan 300E with the BBSs with the tan inside and the chrome lip? Dude, I remember everything. I laid in a cell for 26 years. Don't lie on here. I don't want to turn this into something like that. Remember when you asked Tupac to park the 300E and he scratched the rims on the side of the divider to the mobile gas station because he went too close because he was anxious just to be in it? Because at this time, Tupac didn't have two rocks to rub on. And you treated him like trash. Because when he scratched the rims, you act like it was a big deal. I got everything. And I ain't here to disrespect you because I respect your gangster. Me and you talked and you came off as a straight man. Dude, call me, man. Let me get back to my show. But before I do that, let me do a little intro. Now, let me just say this real quick. You know what I mean? Let me say this real quick.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Now, that's where we at, Rob. Toast the crime, we grew past crime. But the same way you could take a hoe off the block, but you can't make her a housewife. You can't take a gangster off the block and make him a house nigga. But anyway, let me tell you about the opening statements, Ron. We're gonna ride back in. I just felt like riding. I'm in a good mood, right? Now, somebody else get to tell your story. Here's what people miss about opening statements. You're sitting at the defense table and another man gets up, turns towards 12 strangers and starts explaining who you are, how you think, how you move, your relationships, your past, your words, your movements, your motives, what the government believes happened. And you can just jump up and say, nah, that ain't it. That ain't the way it went down. Prosecutors are laying out their retaliation theory because they expect you to retaliate and go against it just like Tretch went up there. That's why I brought this video in so you know it all coincide. There's always a method to the madness when we riding. Because everybody try and create their own theory from the facts. Tretch, you know the facts. We got Red Alert, we got Ralph McDaniel, we got Lily from SWV, Brand Newbie, we got people that know the facts. Don't do that, family, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. All right, now, prosecutors are laying out their retaliation strategy, just like Tretch tried to do up on Uncle Murder and Tony Yayo, but we're not going with that. They allege the shooting grew out of what happened after the MGM grand fight involving Tupac and Orlando Andersons. They allege Keffe D helped organize what followed. Keffe D has pled not guilty, and the government still has to prove their case. Never forget that. Then the defense stands up. Different pictures being painted, different interpretation of the facts. They're saying the government is leaning heavily on old statements, interviews, and a memoir. And that parts to those stories are exaggerated or commercialized. Now, Keffe D is saying all this is commercialized. He just said what needed to be said. Just like Tretch is trying to say, you heard it in Brooklyn or Queens. Yo, stop it, dog. New York is still alive. We're all young enough to know the truth. Now imagine sitting between those two stories. Prosecutor, this is who he was. Defense, no, that's not reliable proof of what happened. And Keffe D is sitting right there. That psychological cage by itself. That's a real psychological cage by itself because everybody in the courtroom is discussing your identity while you're the one person who can't control how every sentence lands. See, outside, people care about reputation. Courtroom doesn't care about your reputation the same way. Court wants evidence, context, credibility, corroboration. That's where the street image can become dangerous. Now, we're gonna hit you with the truth. Cause this is here just a tease, ain't to start no beef, just to let y'all know what it is, cause we give y'all historical facts. You could spend years creating a reputation. Then one day, your freedom may depend on strangers deciding how much of that reputation was real. That's power, turning into pressure. But I like to ride. So we gonna ride. I wanna thank everybody for coming to class. Round of applause. Round of applause to yourself for coming to class. Round of applause. Come on, I wanna give you all the Unique Mecca Audio twist, man. Relax. It's Keffe D. You know, may have to listen to Keffe D. Keffe D may have to listen to Keffe D. Here's where this case gets psychologically nasty. The government doesn't only have other people's memories. They have something closer. Keffe D's own words, interviews, memoirs, his old law enforcement interviews, statements made years after Tupac died, words that left his mouth when his courtroom probably wasn't anywhere in his imagination. He wasn't even thinking about the courtroom when he did these interviews. And now he's sitting there fighting for his life. That's why I tell you, young brothers, don't do it. It's not worth it. Social media is good for quick, immediate glamour. That 6 minutes of fame. And then they bring you down and burn you to hell. Look at all the rappers. They're trying to send to hell right now. Now, those words can come back into the room. Imagine sitting there and recording starts playing. You hear your own voice, but you don't control the play button, the rewind or the pause. That's just you speaking, confessing to a crime that could put you in prison for the rest of your life. That's what I call the ghost witness. Keffe D got the ghost witness. He's listening to the ghost behind me, look in his eyes as I talk to you, because nobody knew has to walk through the courtroom door. The old you is already there. His voice is there. His clothes are there. His ego may be there. His exaggeration may be there. His truth may be there. And now lawyers are fighting over which part is which, trying to separate the two. That's why this social media generation better listen to me and listen to me well. You record something today, trying to look dangerous, trying to look connected, trying to look untouchable, trying to make everybody believe I'm really like that. Then 10 years later, life changes, stakes changes, you change. And suddenly you need somebody to understand that wasn't the whole me. Don't put me away, don't put me in prison. Now Keffe D begging for his life against his own words. But here's the problem. You trained everybody to believe it was you, Keffe D. We believed you was that gangster. That's the trap. A character can make you money today and become somebody else's exhibit tomorrow. Now, your mouth can create a version of you that survives the moment. So before you make the world believe an image, make sure your future self can afford that image becoming payment for your choices. Now, I'm gonna ride, man. I'm gonna ride. Where we at? We only on here 18 minutes already. Yo, y'all gotta hit the like button, the emoji. Y'all gotta do all that crap because right now I already got this little thing. So don't think I ain't know nobody coming up here. Little 100,000. Don't mean crap. Remember that. Now they say you gotta hit engagement. Put an emoji, put a couple of comments, say something, just keep it moving so you can show engagement. That's how it works. See how you get jewels over here at the Mecca? Now, we're gonna talk about the dark psychological cell. The night before day one. We're gonna talk about what Keffe D went through the night before he walked in the court for that opening statement. From my lived experience, because I sat there facing life and wound up with life plus 20, and this is what I went through. So I'm letting you know what a man goes through when he fights this with the dark psychological cell the night before day one. Now, I'm taking you somewhere the cameras don't go and can't go. I don't know Keffe D's private thoughts. I'm not pretending I do. I'm giving you lived experience translation of what it felt like for a man to be ready to lose the rest of his life to 12 jurors of his so-called peers. Because I know what confinement does when something major is coming. Night before opening statements, doors close, building gets quiet. Trial ain't 6 months away anymore. Ain't next month. It ain't next week. It's tomorrow. And that's when the mind starts running. What are they opening with? What recordings are they gonna play? Which witnesses is gonna come first? What does that witness remember? What did I say in that recording that could bring me down? What did I forget to say that I should have said to coverage I have an alibi? What does the government know? What does my lawyer know? What don't I know? That's what's going through someone in Keffe D's position's mind. So Unique Mecca Audio is taking you on a mental trip because we're on a time machine. That's where the cell becomes darker than four walls because uncertainty starts manufacturing its own evidence. Your brain fills blanks in, creates scenarios, puts faces to things, replays old conversation. And now, none of it needs permission anymore. I've been there with my own memories. Different circumstances, but I know what it means when everything gets quiet and your past gets loud. You remember people, decisions, things you thought you buried and would never come back to haunt you is now sitting there. Look in Keffe D's eyes as I talk to you. Things you wish you could reopen and do differently. That's why I tell young brothers, don't tell me prison doesn't scare you. Forget the other inmates for a minute. Forget fights, forget gangs. Can you handle yourself when your own mind starts talking back to you? Because that's what happened when you're facing the rest of your life in a matter of hours. Your freedom in hours. Courtroom comes at 5. Lawyers go home. Judges leave. Jury leaves. But your mind can reopen court at 2:17 in the morning. And that's a mother effer. When your mind wakes you up out your sweetest dream and said, oh no, you're not free. I control you. So we're gonna get to the jewel in that. The judge can adjourn the courtroom, but who adjourns? The courtroom inside your head. Who has control of the courtroom inside your head? Man, I feel like riding. Let's ride. Let's ride. 30 years. Consequences. Have patience. You heard what I just said? Class, y'all listen to me. Consequences has patience. Here's what these young dudes don't understand. 30 years don't feel like you're 20. 30 years is just a number when you're 20. You can't picture 20 years, 30 years. At 20, you're thinking tonight, this weekend, the person disrespecting you, the people watching, the pride, the embarrassment, the response. Everything feels immediate, like it needs an immediate response. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments. That's what the street does to your mind. It shrinks the timeline, make 5 minutes feel more important than 50 years that you're looking at for what you do within those 5 minutes. That's a dangerous form of psychological manipulation that you're causing upon yourself. Because consequences does not have to arrive while the adrenaline is high. Consequences is real patient. It just showed you this in the Keffe D case. It took 30 years for consequences to ask for its payment. They can wait until your hair turns gray. Wait until your children or adults. Wait until some of the people you were trying to impress are dead and they may have been your only witness. Wait until you're thinking completely different. Then knock, knock, knock. Remember me? That's what makes the trial deeper than celebrity. A night from 1996, right, is being reconstructed in 2026. They reconstructing a night from 30 years ago in a courtroom in Nevada. That's not street time. That's consequence time. So a young brother needs to start asking himself something without anybody having to preach it to him. Is the decision, if that decision can still know my address 30 years from now, is tonight really worth it? Do you understand what I said? If you gotta ask yourself, is the decision worth 30 years? That 5-second decision that you're out at night, Nolan Wells, you're at a track meet. At 5 seconds. Now, the jewel in that, right? Because y'all like when I get a jewel. Hey, yo, just so y'all know, the number on the screen work, right? Anger has a short memory. Consequences don't. Yo, I'm gonna play some videos so you understand how we do this, right? Hold your phone sideways if you want to send a video. Let know what you get from Unique Mecca Audio. If you like the content, you just want to give me my flowers, you want to be seen on the YouTube, hold your phone like this and send it to the number on the screen. Do you understand that? 917-680-9091. Now I'm gonna let you see what that looked like just so you understand. From beautiful, young fan that I ran into. Let's go over here.
I'm like, oh my God. Is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, it's such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1,000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing. History. How hard it is to be in jail. The right and wrong moves to make when you outside. How one wrong move will cost you a whole lot. To be better, to do better. A lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from this channel. It's very informal. And, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like, this is a good YouTube channel, honestly. Okay, I'm Cora. You can follow me at Instagram on Why I Hate on Her. And, yeah.
All right, just so you know, that's how we ride, right? But we done with the 200-year-old thing. I just wanted to say that big shout out. Go watch their podcast. Let's stop this. Let's keep it moving. All right, now we're gonna get back into Keffe D. Now I'm gonna give you my Unique Mecca Audio twist, right? What if the biggest fight is Keffe D versus Keffe D is what we're gonna talk about. Everybody frames this as the government versus Keffe D. Legally, absolutely. But psychologically, there's another fight hiding beneath it. Keffe D versus Keffe D. Because the defense has a problem, they have to challenge the meaning and reliability of things Keffe D himself said out his own mouth. So now, one version of the man can be sitting there while another version is coming through recordings and pages and speakers in a courtroom. The public Keffe D, the interview Keffe D, the book Keffe D, the younger Keffe D, the defendant Keffe D. Which one does the jury believe? Who do you believe? That's why identity can become a person in prison. You build a character so strong, everybody knows the character. Everybody remembers the character. Everybody expects the character to react a certain way. Then one day, you need people to separate the man from the character. That's not always easy, especially when you build both with the same face, right? Now, hold up, Lou calling me, man. Yo, what up, Lou? I'm doing the recording, man. Hold up, Lou. Yo, Lou, you want to say what's up? I'm doing the recording. We're going to knock that out. I'm letting you know now you're recording. So any crazy shit you say will be on the air. You already on the call. I'm recording. All right, there you go. That's how you get them off when they call. Now, that's a lesson. That's a lesson artists better understand. The tougher you make the public image, the more responsibility you have to understand how people outside your culture may interpret it. Because a fan may hear entertainment, somebody else may hear something entirely different. And the jewel in that so the class understand. Don't build a character so powerful that your future self has to beg people to believe the man underneath it. Now, we're gonna ride into Tupac was 25. Don't let the psychology erase the damage. Now stop, because we can't make this all about Keffe D's pressure. Tupac died at 25 years old. That's important, because psychological explanation is not an excuse. Accountability has to stay in the room. Somebody lost every future vision of himself. Tupac never got to be 35, never got to be 45, never got to be 55, never got the opportunity to look back at 25 and say, man, I see life differently. That's one of the darkest things violence steals. It doesn't only kill the person standing there. It kills every person they say had time to become. And that's why I don't understand romanticizing East Coast, West Coast war from back then that the media created. I don't romanticize gang culture. I don't romanticize retaliation. I don't care how legendary people make the era sound. One young man died. Families lived with it. And nearly 30 years later, another man's future is now being decided in court. And his name is Keffe D. Dwayne Keffe D. Williams. Just say it right. Because he's innocent until proven guilty. So where exactly was the victory? That's the thing the street never answers. Everybody talks about who was tough, who stood on what, who represented what. Who actually won? That's the question. If the end of the code is death, prison, trauma, and 30 years of pain, what exactly are we still defending about the code? Did y'all hear that question? I want you to put that in the comment. If the end of the code is death, prison, trauma, and 30 years of pain, what exactly are we still defending about the code? Cause we riding. Retaliation. The street only shows you the first 5 minutes of that retaliation. Prosecutors say retaliation is central to their theory. And retaliation is something I understand psychologically. Something happens to your people. Somebody gets hit, somebody gets embarrassed, somebody gets disrespected. Now everybody around you is emotionally activated. Street code whispers, you can't let that go. Everybody's watching. If you don't answer, you'll look weak. And that's the trick. The streets only show you the next 5 minutes. It never shows you the next 30 years that you'll be looking at from your response from those 5 minutes. It doesn't show detectives, autopsies, grieving families, indictments, lawyers, courtroom exhibits, children aging, missed funerals, prison beds, old men sitting in the cell wishing they didn't do what they did yesterday. If somebody can disrespect you and your response costs you your future, I need you to think about who really control who. Because the person who pushed the emotional button might have controlled your next 30 years. Think about that. The person that pushed the emotional button may control your next 30 years. Can't get no more realer than that. If another person disrespect and can make you destroy your future, is that strength? Or did they just gain control of your mind? If another person's disrespect can make you destroy your future, is that strength? Or did they just gain control of your mind? Put it in the comments. I'm about to tap out. Been on it long enough. I done gave you about 9 rides. We done been all over the place. Street code versus court code. 2 languages collide. Here's another Unique Mecca Audio lesson for you. And I want to thank you again, class, for attending. Street code and court code don't speak the same language. Street code says he was just talking. Court code said, what exactly did he say? Street code says everybody exaggerates. The court asks, does anything corroborate that exaggeration? Street code says that's just how he talks. Jurors may come from a world where they don't understand any of that conversation, the language or the dialect that we're using. That's the dangerous misunderstanding. Young people assume everybody understand their language, their humor, their exaggeration, their slang, their street performance. Then court arrives. Now somebody who never lived one day in your environment or your shoes is being asked to interpret your own words. And your freedom may depend partly on how those words fit with everything else. That's why wisdom says, don't just think about what the people around you understand. Think about how the rest of the world may understand what you're putting into permanent form when you make these videos on YouTube. The jewel in that, the street gives you words, one meaning. The street gives your words only one meaning. What happens when the 12 strangers hear another interpretation of those words? Now, go we riding. We said we came to ride. Now, 30 years of silence. Then the story started talking. Here's another psychological contradiction. For decades, Tupac's murder lived inside rumors, silence, street code, dead witnesses, old stories, people that's alive that refuse to talk because they stand on street code. Then years later, Keffe D started speaking publicly, interviews, television, a book. Suddenly the story that lived in whispers has a microphone. That's where ego can become dangerous. Sometimes fear can make somebody silent, but attention can make them talk. People want recognition, right? Look in his eyes when I'm talking to you. Keffe D wanted recognition. He wanted credit, reliance. They want people to know I was there. I know what happened. And that's where the person listening matters. You may think you're talking to the audience. Somebody else may be collecting information. That's what they call confidence and informants or rat bastards. That's why I tell young brothers, every room doesn't need your story. Every microphone doesn't deserve your history. Every person asking a question doesn't need an answer. That's not fair. That's discipline. That's understanding that your ego doesn't have to attend every conversation. Now, we got to give you the jewel in that. If attention can make you reveal what fear taught you to protect, which one really controls you, your principle or your ego? Now, this right here is where I'm getting ready to tap out. This is for the young brothers. I want to thank y'all for staying after class. It's already 40 minutes, my bag. The young man spends money from the older man's account. The young man, right, spends money from the older man's account. I'm gonna explain that to you. That part is personal because I know exactly what it feels like to become older while paying for decisions made when I was younger. The younger Unique couldn't emotionally understand 26 years. 26 years was just words until the years started becoming real. Birthdays, Christmas, funerals, my daughter growing up, my son growing up, my family aging, my friends disappearing, the world changing. That's how sentence teaches mathematics. That's the ultimate mathematics. The young man says, I'll handle whatever comes my way. I'm built for this. But he has no idea what he's promising the older man. That's why I look at these young brothers and I wish they could sit across from themselves at 60, like Keffe D is now doing. Before the emotional decision, let that older man talk. Let him say, younger brother, please don't leave me this. And that's what Keffe D is saying now. Orlando, allegedly, why did you leave me this? I want to see my children age. I want to see my grandchildren age. I want to grow old outside. I want to take walks in the morning and not have the police pick me up and identify themselves as the police. I don't want to spend decades cleaning up 5 minutes of your ego, Orlando. These are things that may be going on in Keffe D's mind. From my lived experiences, that's the Unique Mecca Audio twist. Your future self ain't a stranger. He's the man you're spending from right now. He's the man you're spending from right now. Keffe D is getting ready to pay for his 30-year-old self at the outcome of this trial. Now, the younger man spends tomorrow like the account belongs to somebody else, which it does, because now the account to pay for accountability, being that Orlando Anderson has deceased, rest in peace to him, straight soldier, Keffe D have to pay for it. The older man finds out his name was on the account the whole time. Day one, the trial is about to begin. We finally gonna take that ride. Now the psychological weight begins. Opening statements don't determine guilt. They're not evidence. The prosecution still has to present the case. The defense gets to challenge anything the prosecutor bring forward. Keffe D remains presumed innocent until the jury finds him otherwise. And that's where we stand at Unique Mecca Audio. But psychologically, something changed today. Before today, the trial was coming. Now, he's inside the trial. Every witness becomes another pressure point. Every recording, every photograph, every objection, every sidebar, every juror expression. And the mind starts watching the jury. Why did she write that down? I seen her writing something. I don't think it's detrimental to me. Why did he look over here at me like that? He must be feeling like the evidence is swaying against me. Did the jury believe what the witness said? Why didn't that jury look at me? That's anxiety, trying to turn faces into verdicts. But you don't control any of that. That's the humiliation of the process. Judge controls the courtroom. Lawyers control presentations. Witnesses control their answers. Jury eventually controls the verdict. And somebody else controls the door that you're praying to walk out of. That's when street power starts looking different, because all that reputation, all that history, all that toughness can't make one juror vote a certain way. Street power feels enormous until your future is sitting in 12 strangers' hands. Then you learn, or should I say you lean, you learn what control really is. Bottom line, that's when you learn what control really is. Now, the final lesson in this before I go, and again, I want to thank you for attending class. Give yourself a round of applause. Cop the book of Roaring Harlem. Cop the book of Roaring Harlem at roaringharlem.com. Let's keep it moving. The final lesson, right? Don't make the old you your future's worst enemy. The jury will decide Keffe D's case. Not me, not social media, not hip hop, and not street rumors. Because I don't need the verdict to teach this lesson. Because the lesson is already sitting at the defense table. As 63-year-old man. A 63-year-old man is answering questions about a night from his early 30s. Tupac died at 25. Didn't even get to see 30. Almost 30 years of history squeezed into one courtroom is what's going on right now. Young brother, young sisters, that's why I keep talking to you. Because you don't feel 30 years when you're 19. You can't even spell 30 years at 19. You only feel tonight, and that tonight could cost you 30 years. And tonight will lie to you and tell you you can get away with it or that it was worth it. Tonight will tell you, handle it, prove yourself, don't look weak, everybody's watching. Wisdom says somebody else is watching too. Your future children, your future wife, your future grandchildren, the 60-year-old man you're trying to become. And maybe that old man doesn't want the reputation you're fighting for tonight. Maybe he wants peace, health, family, freedom, sleep. Maybe he wants his life back. So before you react, bring that old man into the room, look him in the face, and make the decision in front of him. Because the scariest thing about consequences isn't always how fast they come. Because it takes time. As you see, it just took 30 years. Sometimes it's how long you're willing to wait. Let's go to the final jewel, right? The street teaches you to worry about who's watching you tonight and how they're gonna rate you tonight. Wisdom teaches you to worry about who has to live with tonight, tomorrow, in that jail cell and to go through this trial. If the 63-year-old version of you had to sit in a courtroom one day and explain what the young version of you is about to do, would you still leave that decision for him? That's not Keffe D's question. That's yours. The streets are real, but prison is realer. And sometimes the most dangerous person standing between you and the future is the younger version of you who thinks tomorrow is too far away to matter, so to react in that 5 seconds. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for attending class. And matter of fact, let me show you why I do this real quick, man. All right, let me show you why I do this.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if, shit be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year now, maybe. And it just took my mind way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago, yeah. And from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Let's go. Hey, yo, tune in to Mecca Audio, man. Unique, man. Listen, man.
I'm a young OG. I knew him since I was young. I used to be in Mecca Audio Studios. Great man. I'm Ra from Tupac Me Against the World album. You can check my credentials. This is a good man, real man, Mecca Audio. I've been knowing this man since I was a little young lad, man. Before Tupac album, before I even did the outlaw shit and all that, man. Holla at me, man. And tune in to Mecca Audio Unique, man. Holla at us, man. All right. You know.
What's good, y'all? This New York Chuck. Yeah, and this Erupt One. Yo, you know, we just here, we out here in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? We out here, you know, Rock birthday party. You know, but this party right here brought out a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And one of the people that this party brought out was like a cornerstone in Harlem, like, you know, I'm talking about with the music, getting money, doing all, and, you know, actually, like a lot of us, we took a page out of his book, you know, to get where we became in life, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna shout my guy out. Shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. You know what I'm saying? He bring y'all real street knowledge. He got all the gangsters on his pod. We Harlem, we the streets. You know what I'm saying? Tune in to Mecca Audio TV, man.
No
on
doubt,
YouTube.
no doubt.
On God, yo. One love for Unique, man. We love
Shout
you,
out
bro.
to Harlem, shout out to Jersey.
What's going on, people? What's going on, man? You got your boy Lodestone out here in Harlem. I'm from the BX. I'm with Unique Mecca Audio. You know what I'm saying? It's a good vibe with the OG. I advise everybody, if you want to hear real spill, real shit, no cap, tune in. Tune in and hear what the OG got to say, man. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna give y'all the truth, man. He gonna give you that real shit, man.
I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually meeting him in person. I've been a fan for 2 years, watching his story and watching his videos on YouTube. He is the bomb god Harlem, legendary, kingpin, real, official. As soon as I sat down by him, I knew like it was like a different energy, a different vibe. But then once I heard his voice, I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it's such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing. I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it's such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing. History, how hard it is to be in jail, the right and wrong moves to make when you outside, how one wrong move will cost you a whole lot, to be better, to do better, a lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from his channel, you know? It's very informal. And, you know, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like, this is a good YouTube channel, honestly.
Who you going where they can find you?
Okay, I'm Cora. You can find me at Instagram on Why Hate on Her. And, yeah.
Here with the OGs, you already know. Yeah. Unique Mecca Audio. If you ain't tapped into Unique Mecca Audio, I don't know what you tapped into. I'm talking about real streets. I'm talking about real entertainment. I'm talking about real YouTubing, real getting to that bag. But I'm talking about a real OG that changed their life, yo. I changed my life the same way. And real OGs like that push me further to change my life. You hear me? Come look. Look what's going on out here. This Harlem. I'm a Brooklyn boy. The only tapping with OGs like Mecca, man. Because I'm telling you, if you're not tapping the Unique Mecca Audio, I don't know what you're doing, man. Show them the scene, OG. They playing themselves. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Tune into Unique Mecca Audio.
I'm out here with my man Rudy. Tune in to Unique Mecca Audio, man.
I'm out here with my man Prince, man Unique, a whole bunch of other legendary gangsters and all. For anybody that want to know what it's like to be in prison, never been in prison, tune into Unique Mecca Audio.
Yes,
All right.
We got the real story.
No question.
All right.
Rest in peace to Rudy Williams. Rest in peace to Rudy Williams. Rest in peace to Rudy Williams, Baltimore's finest, and a round of applause. All right, relax. But rest in peace to Rudy Williams, and you already know how we do at the Mecca. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the hype button, do all that. Let's keep it moving. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be whoring uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours, so we can give back to the.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.